Everyone keeps telling me I'm the hero, but they don't know the part one left out. They call me brave for walking away, but my hands weren't clean when I did it. The worst thing I ever did wasn't breaking up with them. It was the secret I used to make sure they'd never come back. On Valentine's Day, my phone lit up with a message from my girlfriend. Heading to dinner with the girls instead. We'll celebrate tomorrow, okay? Just like that. No build-up. No apology beyond a lazy sorry. I stared at the screen, feeling my jaw clench for a moment, then typed back, of course. Short. Polite. Completely different from how I felt. A few minutes later, I recorded a short video of myself, yes, on Valentine's Day, walking into a local women's shelter and handing over a velvet box to a staff member. Inside was a diamond necklace I'd spent weeks secretly saving up for. I wasn't smiling or talking. I just set it on the counter, signed the donation form, and walked out. That was it. No explanation. No dramatic speech. Just action. When I uploaded the video, people online ate it up like a bag of heart-shaped candy. Comments exploded. Who does this? Real gentleman energy. This is the most romantic thing I've ever seen. They loved it. Until she saw it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's the thing, I've never been one to make a federal case out of Valentine's Day. If anything, I usually treat February 14th the same way I treat Laundry Day. Just a task that happens. But my girlfriend of 3 years, Jessica? Valentine's Day was her personal Olympics. Her red carpet premiere. She didn't just like it, she performed it. Everything had to be worthy of social media. Luxurious flowers, sparkly jewelry, some over-the-top dinner with candlelight and price tags big enough to brag about in group chats. And I played my role because I cared about her. At least, I thought I did. So this year, I decided to really go all in. I booked a reservation a month early at one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city, the kind with a waitlist that makes you rethink your entire existence. I arranged for a massive bouquet to be delivered to her office. Like, flowers so big they needed their own seat on public transportation. And sitting on my work desk, inside a deep navy-colored box that looked like it came from an auction house, was a diamond necklace worth more than my first beat-up car. I was proud of it. Excited, even. The day felt promising. Then noon rolled around. I was in the middle of discussing financial projections with a client, and that's when her text came through. Her message sounded rushed but carefree, like she was casually canceling lunch plans instead of tossing aside weeks of preparation. Emergency Galentine's dinner. Really? I know her friends. Their biggest emergencies involve whether a handbag is sold out in their favorite shade of beige. The mental image of them sitting around complaining about their boyfriends the way they complain about parking lots made something click in my brain. I work in finance. My whole career is built on spotting patterns, trends people miss because they want to believe things are fine. And Jessica had been showing me a trend for months. Entitlement creeping into every conversation. Jealousy disguised as jokes about other people's gifts. Little digs about how predictable my life was. How I never did anything spontaneous, as if stability was some kind of curse. That text wasn't the problem. It was just the final piece of the puzzle. And suddenly, everything made sense. I typed back, of course. Then I muted my phone, excused myself, and walked to my office feeling strangely calm. I sat down, opened the blue box, and stared at the diamond necklace, $5,000 worth of shiny carbon meant to symbolize love. Instead, it felt like a sad receipt for a bad decision. I realized something. This wasn't a relationship anymore. It was a bad investment. And anyone who knows finance knows exactly what you do with a bad investment. You cut your losses. But this wasn't going to be a private breakup. She loved the spotlight, the attention, the public validation. So I decided to give her some more of it, just not the kind she would expect. If she wanted a show, I was ready to give her one. Only this time, I'd be the one directing the script. The first phase of my plan was almost laughably simple. Step 1, I called the restaurant and canceled our reservation. The hostess sounded shocked. That place has a waitlist longer than a college semester, but I gave her my name and hung up without a second thought. Step 2, I contacted the florist. Instead of sending that enormous Valentine's bouquet to my apartment, I asked them to reroute it to the front desk of a nearby children's hospital. A place where flowers might actually matter. Step 3, I picked up the jewelry box from my desk, slid it into my coat pocket like it weighed nothing at all, and walked out of the office early. I wasn't going home, though. I was headed across town to a place called The Haven. It's a shelter for women and children escaping abusive homes, the kind of place that survives on goodwill, donations, and people who care. Not people who pretend to care for the sake of their followers. When I walked inside, the air felt heavy but safe, like the building was trying to hug the people it protected. I asked to speak with the director, and a few minutes later a woman in her 60s appeared. Silver hair, stern eyes, and a warm face that suggested she didn't tolerate nonsense but had a soft spot for anyone who needed help. Her name was Margaret. I introduced myself, explained why I was there, and held out the little blue box. I bought a Valentine's gift that isn't needed anymore, I said. I figured it could do something useful here. You can raffle it off at a fundraiser, sell it, or give it to someone who's starting a new life from scratch. Whatever helps. She opened the box, and her eyes widened. She blinked rapidly, speechless, like her brain needed a minute to reboot. This is incredibly generous, she murmured. Are you sure? I've never been more certain of anything, I answered. And that's when I made my move. I pulled my phone from my pocket. Margaret, I have a strange request. Would you mind if I filmed this? I promise I won't show your face or anyone who lives here. I just want to say a few words. Could be a good thing, might inspire donations. She hesitated, and I didn't push. I just explained. I wanted to use something personal, something disappointing, and turn it into something kind. Something helpful. After a moment, she nodded. So I set my phone on a small table, angled just right. You could see my torso and face, her hands holding the open jewelry box, and the shelter's name on the wall behind us. No one else. Then I hit record. I kept the message simple, real, no pity party, no bitterness. Hey everyone, I started. My name's Alex. Today is Valentine's Day, and like a lot of people, I had plans. I bought these flowers and this necklace for someone I care about, but plans change. Life happens. And I had a choice, I could sulk or I could do something better with it. I motioned to the box in Margaret's hands. This necklace was meant to be a symbol of love for one person. But instead, it's going to be a symbol of hope for many. I'm donating it to The Haven, an organization that helps women and kids rebuild their lives. If it can help even one person, that's worth more than any dinner reservation. Then I looked straight at the camera. So if today didn't turn out the way you hoped, you're not alone. And maybe, just maybe, one of the best ways to heal a broken heart is by helping someone else. Happy Valentine's Day. I stopped recording, thanked Margaret again, and walked out feeling lighter than I had in months. When I got home, I edited the video just enough to add the Haven's website and donation link. Then I uploaded it to a popular Facebook page dedicated to local news and city events, plus Twitter, tagging only our city and adding a few simple hashtags. Hashtag Valentine's Day. Hashtag Pay It Forward. Hashtag City Name. After that, I shut off my phone, poured myself a whiskey, and let social media do what social media does best. By morning, it was everywhere. Thousands of shares. The video pinned as the top story on the local page. My face plastered all over the internet with captions praising generosity and calling me a real man. Comments poured in like a flood. Whoever let this guy go just fumbled harder than the Super Bowl. Donated to the Haven in your honor, Alex. What an inspiration. This is what love looks like. A king. The narrative wrote itself. A heartbroken guy. A selfish ex. A noble act. A good cause. It was irresistible. By mid-morning, news stations were calling non-stop. They wanted interviews with what they were now calling the Valentine's Day Angel. I turned them all down, saying I didn't want attention. Which, of course, only made people admire me more. Then finally, at noon, the first ripple from Jessica hit my phone. A text. Only 4 words. My phone is exploding. What did you do? I didn't answer. An hour later, she called. I watched her name light up on my screen and let it go to voicemail. The message that landed was, art. Real, chaotic art. Confusion, anger, disbelief, all tangled together. Alex, what is going on? My mother just asked if we broke up. That necklace was for me. You had no right to give it away. Call me back. Her necklace. The one she'd never seen, never touched, had no clue existed, yet somehow hers. The entitlement was almost poetic. I didn't respond. Not yet. Because with Jessica, anger was just the opening act. The real show would be the full-blown public relations meltdown. And I was more than ready to watch it unfold. By late afternoon, Jessica launched her counterattack. Since she couldn't reach me by phone, she sprinted straight to her favorite battlefield, Instagram. She uploaded a crying selfie, mascara streaks and all, then posted a long, rambling story full of dramatic pauses and capital letters. According to her version of reality, we had a tiny disagreement, I exploded in some toxic rage, and then I stole back a necklace I had already given her, just to humiliate her publicly. She painted herself as the innocent girlfriend victimized by a manipulative monster who orchestrated a charity stunt purely to punish her. Within minutes, her friends, her personal chorus of background actors who always cheer on the main character, reposted her story like they were sharing breaking news. Their captions were priceless. He's always been controlling, this is who he really is. This isn't charity, it's emotional abuse. She ditched him one night to be a good friend and he does this? Red flag. Walking. They expected applause. They expected sympathy. They expected the internet to switch sides like fans booing a rival team. But they made one major mistake. Their entire fairy tale was built on lies. And unlike them, I had receipts. I didn't respond to them. I didn't fight with strangers in comment sections. I didn't even post a single thing. That would have only turned it into a tabloid circus, messy, loud, and pointless. Instead, I waited. Eventually, a local news blogger reached out. She'd written a glowing article the night before praising the donation, and now she wanted my thoughts on Jessica's accusations. She asked politely, journalist to source. That was my moment. I sent her a calm, concise message. I'm saddened by the false accusations, though I'm not surprised. My only intention was to turn a disappointing situation into something positive. I ended the relationship after I received a cancellation text on Valentine's Day. The necklace was never in her possession, it remained with me until I donated it to the Haven. Then I attached 2 pieces of evidence. A time-stamped receipt showing I purchased the necklace on Valentine's morning. A screenshot of Jessica's cancellation text, breezy and dismissive, time-stamped 2 hours later. No theatrics. No insults. Just facts. Within an hour, her article was updated. The headline had clause. Valentine's Day Angel's ex accuses him of theft, receipts tell a different story. She published the timeline side by side. 10 a.m., I buy the necklace. 12 p.m., Jessica cancels our Valentine's plans. 3 p.m., I donate the necklace. No interpretation needed. The truth spoke louder than her tears. And the internet? They turned on her like a storm flipping a beach umbrella. Her Instagram comments became an absolute inferno. So you're mad he donated something you didn't even know existed? Entitlement Olympic gold medalist right here. You didn't fumble the bag, you launched it into a charitable incinerator. How do you become the most disliked person in the city in 24 hours? Teach a class. It was brutal. But honestly, she asked for a spotlight. She got one. And I still wasn't finished. Because something about that so-called emergency Galentine's dinner never sat right with me. The panic in her voice wasn't heartbreak, it was desperation. The sloppy lies weren't emotional, they were strategic. So the same day I made the donation, I hired a private investigator. Nothing dramatic, just a quiet professional with a network of people who knew how to follow credit card trails and social media breadcrumbs. I gave him one simple job. Find out where Jessica and her friends actually were on Valentine's night. It took less than a day. Yes, 2 of the girls were together at a trendy restaurant. But Jessica wasn't there. She was across town at a much smaller, pricier, dimly lit romantic restaurant. And she wasn't eating alone. She was holding hands across a table with her ex-boyfriend, a guy named Ben, the one she swore was, like, totally ancient history. The PI even sent me a photo. Jessica leaning forward, fingers interlocked with his, candlelight reflecting off the wine glasses between them. I didn't post it. I didn't send it to anyone. I just saved it. My insurance policy. My ace in the pocket. I'd play that card when the time was right. And I had a pretty good feeling the right moment was coming soon. What happened after that wasn't explosive. It wasn't loud or dramatic or filled with big confrontations. The end of this whole saga came quietly, like a building collapsing in slow motion. Piece by piece, Jessica's world fell apart. After the internet tore apart her fake story, she tried to escape the backlash by deleting all her social media accounts. But it was too late. The video, the receipts, the articles, they weren't going anywhere. People kept reposting them, talking about them, laughing at every contradiction she'd tried to spin. Her circle of friends, the same group that had once backed her up like a squad of loud cheerleaders, suddenly went silent. Then they began distancing themselves from her completely. It was amazing how fast loyalty evaporated once the story stopped benefiting them. They backpedaled, claiming they'd had no idea she was with her ex on Valentine's Day, insisting she'd manipulated them too. Over time, she stopped being seen as a victim or even a heartbroken girlfriend. She became a walking cautionary tale. And that reputation came with consequences. Jessica worked in public relations, a field where reputation is currency. People in her industry gossip like brokers on the stock exchange, and she suddenly became toxic stock. Her company stayed neutral at first, but when a major local news account connected her name to the story, they cut ties. They didn't announce anything. They didn't condemn or defend her. They simply let her go. Just like that, she was unemployed. No friends to defend her. No online brand to hide behind. And the worst part? Her family felt the backlash too. Her parents had stood by her loudly in the beginning, that is, until the fallout spread to them. Her father, a respected businessman in town, reportedly lost a major client who didn't like the idea of being associated with the Valentine's Day scandal family. In their world, reputation wasn't a hobby, it was career survival. They confronted her with ultimatums. Get a real job. Take responsibility. Apologize publicly. Jessica refused. Maybe she still believed her own version of reality, maybe she just couldn't handle the idea of admitting fault. Either way, she dug her heels in. And they finally had enough. Her parents cut her off. Financially. Emotionally. Completely. For the first time in her life, she had no safety net to fall back on. That's why, 2 months later, she showed up at my doorstep. It was close to midnight when the doorbell rang. When I opened it, there stood a version of Jessica I had never seen before, pale, exhausted, and shaky, like she'd been underwater for too long and was just now coming up for air. The loud, confident, social media perfect persona she used to wear like armor had vanished. She started talking immediately, apologies poured out nonstop. Tears, excuses, declarations of love, promises to make it up to me. She said Ben didn't matter, that she'd been confused, that she was scared of losing me. I let her speak. 5 full minutes. Not a single interruption. When she finally ran out of words, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just pulled out my phone and showed her the photo. The one from Valentine's night. Her holding hands with her ex across the table. Her face collapsed. Not from surprise, but from finally realizing she had run out of lies to hide behind. I know everything, Jessica, I said quietly. I've known since the very beginning. That's when the apologies turned into begging. Not for love. Not for forgiveness. For shelter. For money. For help. And maybe some people would call what I did harsh. But I'd already done more than she realized. You had a home, I said. You had someone who cared about you. You chose something else. You don't get to ask me to carry the consequences of your decision. I stepped back and closed the door. There was no slam, no shouted string of insults, no dramatic final line. Just a door quietly shutting on a chapter that never should have gone on as long as it did. Looking back, the revenge was never about diamonds or news articles or viral applause. It was about value. What things are worth, and what people are worth. She traded something real for something temporary. I walked away from something toxic to protect my self-respect. In the end, we both made a choice. She got the life that matched hers. I kept mine. And honestly, that was the biggest win of all.